Merry Christmas, baseball fans. In today's video, I wanted to react to a video made by the YouTube channel Locked On Cubs, where they discuss trading for Pablo Lopez. And I also wanted to touch on what the true definition of an ace actually is. These guys run a good Cub-centric baseball channel, so be sure to check it out. Before we hear what Matt and Sam have to say about Lopez, I'm going to preface this video with my opinion. Lopez is a good starter, I can't deny that. But is he what the Cubs really need? In my opinion, no. Lopez will not take the Cubs to the next level that they need to reach. He would simply be another number 3 type starter, which the Cubs have enough of. On his best days, he can be a number 2, but to increase your odds of going all the way, a team needs to have a true ace on the team, which the Cubs do not have. Lopez would simply be more depth, which is Jed Hoyer's favorite word. But let's hear what Matt and Sam have to say, and I'll react to the points that they're making.
Pablo Lopez has made 32 starts each of the last 3 seasons, solidifying himself as one of the most reliable starting pitchers in all of baseball. He's also had flashes of excellence during this time, including an all-star selection in 2023. The right-hander posted a 4.08 ERA in 24, 3.66 in 23, and 3.75 in 22.
I really dislike using ERA as a barometer for a pitcher because it relies too much on what a pitcher's defense is doing behind him, good or bad. That's why we have the FIP stat, which gives us a much clearer idea of a pitcher's true ability.
With Lopez, as you said, he's been extremely durable the last 3 years, and he's been fairly consistent. He's the type of guy where if you trade for him, you know in the ballpark of what you're going to get. So it's two totally different situations compared to the Luzardo one.
Sam is correct here. Lopez has been a model of reliability the past 3 seasons, making 32 starts in each season. There is value in that, to be sure.
He gets a lot of swings and misses, like a lot of them, and a lot of chase, really. He gets strikeouts. Last year he struck out 198 guys in 185 innings. Anytime you see that number over 9 per a guy an inning, that's always a good sign. The year before, he struck out 234 batters in 194 innings. Wow. And the thing that I love is he doesn't walk people. He doesn't walk people. He's a little bit of a victim of the home run ball. Gave up 26 last year, so that's probably a problem.
Lopez does strike out a fair amount of hitters, tying for 38th best Ks per 9 in 2024 at 9.62. Sam said he doesn't walk people, and that was pretty much true in 2024, tying for 21st best starter in baseball, walking only 1.99 hitters per 9 innings. But like Sam mentioned, he is a victim of the long ball, having given up 1.26 home runs per 9 innings in 2024, tied for 99th best.
What he is, Matt, is he's a very solid major league starter.
I can't disagree with Sam on that. Lopez is a very solid major league starter.
Yeah, and I think for that reason, I am intrigued by the possibility of them acquiring him and slotting him in between Steele and Imanaga.
Okay, right here is where I have a problem. We just heard Matt say he's in favor of the Cubs pursuing Lopez and slotting him in between Steele and Imanaga, ostensibly meaning that Steele is our ace, and he considers Lopez would be a number 2 and Imanaga would be a number 3. As I have said in the past, nothing in sports is guaranteed. There is no such thing as a team makes move X and it will result in Y happening. The best thing a team can do is skew the odds in their favor as much as possible. It all comes down to odds and probability. The odds skew in a team's favor when a team has a lockdown ace leading their rotation. A guy that is more likely, not guaranteed, but more likely to throw up zeros on any given start. The definition of what an ace actually is varies depending on whom you talk to. Some people consider an ace simply to be a team's number 1 starter. Let's see if that holds water. Look at the stats of this unnamed pitcher in 2024. He posted an ERA of 4.75 with an almost identical FIP of 4.83. Made 30 starts and posted an overall WAR of only 1.2. Would you consider this to be ace-like numbers? I certainly wouldn't. but he was the Colorado Rockies' #1 starter this year. It was Austin Gomber. Let's try another one. This unnamed pitcher posted an ERA of 3.81, but his FIP was 4.66. Made 31 starts and accumulated a WAR of only 1.6 in 2024. Are these ace-like numbers? Not even close, but he was the Angels' #1 starter this year. I'm talking about Tyler Anderson. I cite these two examples because, as I said, some people consider an ace to simply be a team's #1 starter, but I do not. As I said, to me an ace is a lockdown guy that you know can throw up zeros in almost any game he pitches. Who were the true aces in 2024? The only two things you really need to look at is the overall WAR they posted and what their FIP was. There are very few starting pitchers that deserve the moniker of ace. Perhaps just the best 10 to 15 starters in baseball truly deserve that title. So let's do some math here. I'm going to find the average WAR and the average FIP for the best 10 to 15 starters in 2024. The average WAR for the best 15 starters in baseball was 4.67, and the average FIP for these best 15 starters was 2.77. You may be a team's #1 starter, like Justin Steele is for the Cubs, but as we established, that does not equate to being an ace just because you're the #1 starter on a team. It should come as no surprise that many of the names in the top 10 to 15 for WAR are also the same names in the top 10 to 15 for FIP. These 10 pitchers appear on both lists, and all 10 of them pitched like a true ace in 2024. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they will continue to pitch that way, because age is a real factor in a player's decline. The name you do not see on this list is Justin Steele. Now, before you go off on me, let me clarify that I love Justin Steele. I love having him on the Cubs and in their rotation. But is he a true ace? Not quite. The players that fall just outside of the statistical range of the actual aces we established are more like #2s. This is where Justin Steele sits, being 36th best in WAR for starters at 3.0, which was affected by him only making 24 starts this season, and being just outside the range in FIP, sitting at 17th best. This doesn't necessarily mean he cannot make a jump forward and pitch like an ace in 2025, because that is totally possible, but to date, he's pitched more like a #2. The point of all this exposition is not to bash Steele, but to show that the Cubs don't have a true ace, and if they want to skew the odds in their favor to have a shot at winning the World Series, they should get one. The Cubs don't need more 3s, 4s, and 5s, which is what getting Pablo Lopez would be doing. Lopez was 45th best in FIP at 3.65 and 29th best in WAR, pretty close to what Steele and Imanaga gave us in 2024. Certainly valuable, but not what is going to take the Cubs to the next level.